Hello, everybody. Welcome to another KMU Live Podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chabruggi, and joining me tonight is my co-host, Derek Williford. How you doing, Derek?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. It's just been a hectic day trying to get stuff done and everything else. I inadvertently doubled myself up on appointments next week, and I'm going to have to reschedule one because when I do the other one, I won't be in any condition to do the other one.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get you. What's
Yeah.
what's the what's the status on what's going on with like your surgery? Are they find anything out with your blood work or?
Well, it's back to normal, so it's good. So it was the baby aspirin I was taking every day that was causing the issues, so that's good. But no, I was supposed to see the dentist next week so I could get the dental work done, so we could get the surgery scheduled. But I had forgot that was that day, and I scheduled a colonoscopy that day.
Oh wow,
So yeah, so that's why I say I won't be in any condition after the colonoscopy to try to go do dental work.
jeez, man.
Hmm.
Well, you're alive and upright, so we'll let God use you tonight to try to find some people. Real quick, there's a
Right.
QR code top of the screen above Ricky. That is the QR code to go straight to Ricky's YouTube
Oh,
page.
cool.
You can watch the show on his personal page or his Kansas Missing and Unsolved Facebook page, but we are also live every week on his YouTube page, and that's how you get to it. Anything you had mentioned before the show started, not so much a missing person, not even
No,
necessarily an unsolved crime, but a lot of people are hating on this dude right now. What's going on with this?
this. Oh my goodness. I've been reading articles on this, and apparently, in 2024, he was charged with like 11 offenses, including, let me see if I can find them here, including like rape and strangulation and rape by instrumentation and things like that. And they even uncovered a video on his phone where he had been recording himself committing these acts. And he was looking at 78 years in prison. Okay. But instead of the 78 years in prison, they gave him like 150 hours community service. And he's also subject to a curfew, banned from social media, must attend daily check-ins, weekly counseling sessions, and until his 19th birthday.
Well, that's like the same thing as 78 years in prison.
I mean, he's already 18. So, and they're also letting him see, they tried him as an adult, and they're going to let him refile as a youthful offender under Oklahoma law.
Is
Because
it
all this
like
took place in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
that Brock Turner case from years ago, the kid that was did something heinous like behind a dumpster and then got a slap on the wrist? I don't
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
mean, it's basically what it is. Just like, and a lot of people are saying the reason that he got this light sentence that he got was because his father is prominent individual in the community. And I got to find where I highlighted it. His father is the former director of operations for the Oklahoma State University football team.
Yikes.
Yeah. So they're thinking because of his prominence with that and this, that's why he got the preferential treatment.
Nothing. It's and again, like it's probably not even his. I think me and Norm were talking about this last week on his show, like whenever crimes, like especially sex crimes, happen on college campuses,
Mm-hmm.
typically it doesn't really reach anything beyond like campus police, which nothing against campus police. I'm sure they their power and where their jurisdiction lies, I'm sure it's respectable and everything. But I
Yeah.
feel like if I had a daughter that was sexually assaulted on campus, I would want to go beyond a campus cop. I would want to go
Yeah.
to like a city cop. But I think in most cases, and again, like you don't want a bunch of stories running around that something awful happened at your school that you
Right.
hope people send their kids to. So I get it, self-preservation. But, 11 counts of this guy,
Yeah.
being a monster to young girls, like
Yeah. And videoing it, no
I
less.
don't I don't care if his dad's like Obama, like you don't get any special treatment, bro. Like you're a
No.
bad guy. I don't care who your dad is. You're a bad
No.
guy.
You do the crime, you do the time, man. That's bottom
Yeah.
line. You do the crime, you do the time, and he should be. There was another case back east in one of the eastern states, and I can't think of which one it was now. It's basically the same thing. I mean, kid committed crimes against or got committed crimes against a young female, convicted of it, and the judge was like, "Oh, he needs a lighter sentence because he comes from a good family."
Yeah.
No, No, you do the crime, you do the time. That's just bottom line. I mean, how do you expect criminals to take their crime seriously if the lawmakers and the judicial system do not? I mean, that's ridiculous. That's not going to scare them into not committing crimes anymore. That's just going to say, "Hey, I can get away with it. I'm going to do it again."
Another thing that blows my mind kind of is, and again, I'm not for vigilantism. I don't think people should take the law into their own hands. I think you should do it through the proper channels. But it is crazy that you have people like this guy, Casey Anthony, you have Brock Turner. Like, I'm just assuming that they're out there just living their life, walking around, out, not shackled to anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like when you're that high caliber of a dirt bag, like, you would have to be nervous to go out in public that somebody's not going to see you and say, you know what, it's worth a couple days in jail to punch this person. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't put it past somebody out there. There might be somebody out there that has just, they're like, I have nothing going on for the next week. I can go to jail. I'll take one for the team. It's crazy when you have people, quote unquote, getting away with stuff. And then they re-enter society. And the next thing you know, it's like, I wouldn't want to be that person walking around in public when your face has been all over the internet and news and people dislike you. Anybody that has a female in their life that they care about, they dislike you. Let's get to the comments real quick. We have Ellen Dodson, Audrey Harris, Scott Messerschmidt watching, Rodney Cox, long time viewer. I think he's been watching us the whole time. He's been on the air since 2020. Dan Newburn,
Dan,
I live here. I'll invite you to my group. Awesome.
Yeah, he lives down in Oklahoma. Him and I chat periodically.
Nice.
If I'm not mistaken, he helps out Muddy Water Search and Recovery, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice. I haven't usually I've been watching YouTube on my TV lately, so like I just turn it on and it gives me my recommended videos and I go from there. But usually when I get on my computer and go on YouTube, I'll go check out Muddy Waters channel. I will probably check them out tomorrow while I'm at work. I like to put YouTube videos on while I do stuff. It makes the day go by faster. Right. And I do like checking in on Muddy Waters channel. If you're out there watching and you're a YouTube person, go ahead and go to Muddy Waters Search and Recovery and Search and Rescue and follow them. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Real quick on the Jesse Butler thing, it has sparked numerous protests at the Capitol and the courthouse and everywhere else. So it's got people fired up down there, and rightfully so. And I hope they get something changed, because that's just utterly ridiculous. I don't care who you are, where you come from. You do the crime, you do the time. Period. Agreed, especially 100%. To that degree. I mean, he's choking him, almost to the point of unconsciousness, and releasing him and other things and videoing it, and just horrible. And they just slap him on the wrist. I mean, it's stupid.
Yeah, and it's again, like, it'd be like if it was one again. It sounds like I'm saying like, well, one is okay, but like if it was just like one situation, you would have to be like, okay, we're in America, you're innocent until proven guilty, yada yada yada. We need to look into this. But 11 times, put him, lock him, chain him to something, and I bet the assaults stop happening if that guy's chained to a radiator somewhere, and we're just feeding him sandwiches and water. I doubt he does anymore. It's 11's too many. 2 is too many, But anyway, Lori Heimer, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Oklahoma was, a big advocate of chemical castration too. So I mean, they should have done that to him too.
100%.
Yeah. But anyway, let's move forward here. We're going to talk about Lori Heimer. She was brutally stabbed in a rural area Kansas home on June 25th, 2016. She ran her business, Lori's Poodle Patch, from her home. She was a licensed breeder of miniature-sized poodles and other breeds, and was licensed through the state of Kansas. KBI was contacted to assist the Saline County Sheriffs in the investigation. They responded with agents and their crime scene response team. During the investigation, 2 vehicles of interest were developed. Vehicle 1 was said to be an older flatbed pickup truck, possibly a Chevrolet, which is described as beat up, maroon in color, with a white front bumper, silver grille, wide-style side mirrors. The driver was described as a man who was 50 years of age or older, with salt and pepper hair. Victim 2 was an older style small pickup truck, possibly a Chevrolet S10, with a 2-tone paint job, dark blue on the top and bottom, with light blue in the middle, a silver back bumper, and a newer blue tailgate that appears to have minimal damage when compared to the body of the truck. The remainder of the vehicle is described as beat up and scratched up. There may have been 2 animal cages or crates in the back. The driver of the second vehicle was described as a white male, approximately 40 years of age, with shoulder-length hair and wearing glasses. Investigators have said they would like to locate these 2 vehicles. They would also like to speak to anyone that had any contact or a business appointment with Lori at any time between June 20th and 25th, 2016. If you have any information regarding the homicide of Lori J. Heimer, please call the Saline County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-826-6500 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. And there is a reward of $37,500 available for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Lori's murder. So if you have any information, no matter how small or minute you might think it might be, get that called in and let them see if that's something that they need to get the case moving forward.
$37,000, lot of dollar bills, bills.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad that we have to do those kinds of things to motivate people, but I guess whatever works to get that information in there, you know.
I think like if that was truly like if somebody knew about a crime and they're just like, well, I'm not saying anything until somebody pays me. I think that is evil, but at the same time, like, I think if you know who did something awful, chances are they know that you know. So it's probably got to be pretty nerve-wracking to just go to a police station and just open that can of worms and be like, hey, I think I know what happened in this crime here, and I want to go ahead and involve myself in it, have my name added to paperwork, have the person that I think did it find out quickly that I'm saying they did it to an officer. Like, and a lot of times in a street setting, going to the police and saying anything is like a death sentence in some people's world, So I kind of get why somebody doesn't just run to authorities when they know evil. They're probably half afraid of what's, retaliation. Brendan, we have Darren Sheld from Topeka. Brenda Meek says hello, Kansas Missing Unsolved. Raynetta Hubbard says hello from Salina, Kansas.
Yeah. And see Ellen up in there saying, hi, Helen. It's Ellen, how you doing? And see Audra Harris is in there again. Audra's my ex-wife. She tunes in. That's cool. I appreciate it.
She's a long-time viewer, too. Her and Rod, a lot of people have been watching for a long time. It's really cool.
Oh, yeah. This is Haley Davis, missing from Salina, Kansas since July 21st, 2023. 19 when she was missing. She's now 21. 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. She left Salina with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita, Kansas, and she was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st, 2023. Wichita police said that the investigation has led them to believe that Haley may be deceased. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 19. She's now 21, 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, or you know of her whereabouts or the location of her remains, please call Detective Owen at 316-268-4185 or via email at aowen@wichita.gov. To remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111 or KBI at 785-296-4017 or 800-572-7463. Or there's that little QR code in the Crime Stoppers banner. You can scan that and it'll take you to a form on the website that you can fill out and submit information anonymously that way. So if you have any knowledge of her case at all, get it sent in and see what we can do to help get her located and back home to her family. And my younger daughter just popped in the comments, Aurelia Morel.
Nice.
I don't think my older daughter ever watches the show, I don't think.
She's not far, though. She's usually close to you. You had heard, or maybe like there was some stuff, a lot of these cases, you'll have pages dedicated, a lot of times family members or, Kelsey Youngblood, somebody who had in the past made a bunch of pages for unsolved crimes or missing people. So it's always cool when you have like even the general public making these Facebook pages trying to find answers for these cases that don't have any. But usually when those pages exist, it also opens up like the floodgates of, I don't know. It's like people will comment stuff that I personally would never say on the internet, but
Right.
all people are different and they have different thresholds for what they want to say. But a lot of times people will flat out say names of people they suspect did it. They'll throw out scenarios. Was Haley one of the cases that you had saw some wild Facebook comment about like some stuff, or?
Yeah, somebody posted something about that they and one other person unalived her in their house and gave the address and stuff like that. And I know it was forwarded on to law enforcement, so they're aware of
Right.
that. So whether anything came of it, I don't know, but I do know they are aware of it. So
A situation like that, like if that was factual information and the person was saying I was a part of this, like to me that's a wild thing to say. I would almost be like, that's just a person that's just trying to, because that's just, I don't know.
Ordinarily, I would say that, but with the Alexander Perez thing, I mean, it almost makes you almost second thought that, that's.
I mean, if I was the cops, I would look into it. But I mean, that's essentially a confession. The Alexander Perez one was more of, hey, I know somebody who harmed this guy, But from what I've heard about the thing you're saying, it sounds like somebody's essentially confessing to it. So again, it could be 100% real, but like, to me, I don't know how many criminals are that dumb that they would just go out and say it on the internet. But
and just be, somebody that's trying to be an attention seeker too. You never know. It's hard to say.
Well, look at how many people have claimed that they killed John Benet Ramsey, and they didn't, obviously. Otherwise, they didn't arrest him, So, but anyway, Haley Davis, all these cases you're going to see on here. Obviously, you can see them on Ricky's Kansas Missing and Unsolved Facebook page, but also you can do your own digging. And like Ricky's saying, there's if you go to some of these Facebook page, you can go to comment section. There's always some wild stuff. Always take it with a grain of salt, but it's a good thing when people are actually still. This is 2 years old here, over 2 years old that she's been missing. So it's good that people talk about it at all, in my opinion. But you will see some pretty wild stuff.
Raynetta is here from Salina, Kansas, joining us. Hey, Raynetta, how are you doing?
Nice.
And I forgot to use this one for Jamie last week because I had added her headstone to it, and I forgot to use that last week. Ding dong. And this is one that gets me fired up too, because it just, kind of highlights the fact that runaways aren't necessarily taken as seriously as they should be. And, you'll see why as I go through it here. Let's see here. 13-year-old Jamie Hernandez Zubia ran away from her foster home in Athena, Kansas on June 9, 2012. Prior to her disappearance, Jamie had been prosecuted in a juvenile court for drug possession. She was due in court for her sentencing shortly after her disappearance. Jamie never showed up and was never seen by her foster family again. There was unfortunately very little media coverage on Jamie's disappearance, likely due to her runaway status, which is sad but true. 3 years later, during the early morning hours of May 30th, 2015, a Kansas City resident called the police to report a shootout on the 2500 block of Ridge Avenue. According to the witness, 2 vehicles fired shots at each other, and a female passenger in one of the vehicles was killed as a result. The female passenger's body was dumped on the side of the road, and the vehicles drove off before the police arrived. 2 days later, on June 1st, 2015, authorities announced that the slain female was identified as Jamie. The identity of Jamie's killer remains unknown, as does the identity of the driver in the car Jamie was riding in when she was shot. Additionally, Jamie's whereabouts from June 2012 through May 2015 still remain a mystery. Although she was ultimately found in Kansas City, it is unknown where she stayed or how she survived during those 3 years. Investigators said they received a tip that Jamie was in Kansas City back in 2013, but when they followed said lead, they were unable to find her. On the night of July 2nd, 2015, one of the vehicles involved in the crime was found abandoned by the Kansas City Police Department. The vehicle was described as a white late 1990s or early 2000s Ford F-150 pickup truck with flare sides, tinted windows, 20-inch chrome rims, and maybe a bullet hole in its tailgate. A touchscreen device was found inside the cab, but it's unclear what was inside the device and if any of it was relevant to Jamie. If you have any information regarding Jamie's murder, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the Athena, Kansas Police Department at 785-989-4521 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. or you can go over here and call the tips hotline. The number there is 816-474-8477, or you can scan that Say It Here QR code. And again, that'll take you to a form on the kccrimestoppers.com website that you can fill out and submit information anonymously that way. And see what we can do to get some justice for Jamie and her family so she can rest in peace. Again, like I said, this one it just highlights how sometimes runaways are just not seemingly not taken very seriously, in my opinion. It's just like, oh, they're a runaway, and they need to be treated just as serious as any other missing kid. I don't care if they ran away once, twice, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, they still need to be treated as seriously. And this is a prime example of why it doesn't happen in every case, no, but just to try to keep them safe and away from something like that, because it's just bad.
That's one thing like that I would say, like, it's you see, we do this show and we talk about these kiddos that take off for a while or whatever, and it's really easy to be like, well, what's going on with that kid, but I think, like, as a collective, as human beings, like, it's all of our jobs to kind of check in on people that might be vulnerable or might not be happy. People are always capable, especially when you're young, people are always capable of, like, crashing out and having a bad day or taking off and stuff. I think that if you're in charge of a young person, you should take that job seriously. You should never pass the buck. I don't care how tired you are, how stressed out you are. If it's your kiddo, blood, legally, whatever, if that kiddo is in your responsibility, you need to take care of that kid. You need to work as hard and as long as possible to make sure your kid, and again, best case scenario, no kid's ever been quote unquote happy, but you got to try your best to kind of make a child not want to run away from you, even if it's bad, but you don't want to be the thing that they run from. So it's important.
Right.
If you have a kid, take care of that kid. A kid is your responsibility. Aurelia says quite a few criminals in history have claimed to do heinous crimes for popularity, and some criminals do it for popularity. It's interesting to think about. I think so.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people do a lot of things for clout. Justice for Cincinnati Renee Gonzalez says, "Hey, you guys, long time no see." Just a huge shout out. Thank you to you guys every time you share Cynthia's story. There's a lot of views and likes on her page. Thank you very much for your help.
You're welcome.
Queenie is sorry she's
Cynthia's
late.
Case? I was just asking, is there any updates on Cynthia's case we need to know about?
I have not heard anything, but maybe she can fill us in. Rodney says, never ceases amazing with things people are capable of. Mary Gibbons says, did the foster home get investigated?
That I don't know. I've never seen anything in any of the information I've read over on the internet about whether they looked into the foster home or not, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like to find out why that they found the one truck, but they were never able to pinpoint who was driving it or whatever. I don't know.
One thing that, and again, I don't know if it matters. Maybe it. I think a lot of times when we handle like endangered and missing runaway kids, we don't really, and I don't even know usually unless like I ask Ricky off air. But I think there's a large percentage of kiddos that are what like people would call runners are in the foster system. And we don't like put that on somebody's flyer, but I think that a large percentage of. So it's just again a situation where vulnerable people need adults that are gonna be present and try their best to help, and not steer people in the wrong direction. She says, no new information, hoping some comes through. Her mom called me out of the blue last week.
Oh, that's good. It's good she's keeping in touch.
Yeah. It's gotta.
Let's see. Kyle Neugebauer. Wanted to cover him again because the anniversary of his disappearance is coming up here pretty soon, just over a month away. He's missing from Wichita, Kansas since December 17th, 2024. He was 26 when he went missing. He's now 27. 6 foot tall, 155 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Last seen near 143rd and Highway 254 in Wichita. Again, he was 26 when he went missing. He's now 27, 6 foot tall, 155 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. He has a tattoo of the date 11/16/2018 on his inner left forearm, which you can see the picture of it there. And he was last seen wearing a black Carhartt jacket, jogging pants, and tennis shoes. If you have any information regarding Kyle's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4111 or 316-263-6011 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Kyle located and back to where he needs to be.
So it says last seen 143rd and Highway 254. Do you know like what he was doing when he was seen there? Or was it just like
don't recall. I remember reading an article about it, and I'm not sure. I think they said he left on foot, I believe.
Okay.
That's about all I can remember.
Well, December 17th, gotta be chilly. He has his Carhartt. So, yeah, I'm just kind of, a lot of these times these flyers are vague. Later on in this show, we're going to cover a flyer that we cover pretty much every week out of Missouri. And Ricky was able to catch a documentary this week on YouTube that developed a lot more information than we've ever given out on this show. And it's pretty interesting stuff. And Ricky might catch us up on that, or he might just point you to that YouTube creator. But Dana Jane Bruce was featured in a documentary, and Ricky caught it this week. Vincent Moore with his knife bag, a 2015 case, very tragic. 9 years of not knowing where this kiddo is.
Yeah. A lot of back and forth on this one. Vincent Moore, missing from Wichita, Kansas since July 11th, 2015. He was 4 months old when he went missing. He'd be now 10 years old. And when he went missing, he was a foot tall, 14 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Last seen in the area of 31st and South Hydraulic on the morning of July 11th, 2015. And this is where it gets conflicting because his reports are that he was last seen with his dad, Gary Moore Jr., according to the Wichita police. The boy was reportedly last seen near South Hydraulic in Tulsa, near 31st Street South. I have seen other people. Actually, I got a message from someone letting me know, and this was back then around the time he went missing, that no, he was actually seen with his mom last. And I've seen other posts about that too, that he was with mom last. So the police are saying dad, other people are saying mom. So it's kind of a back and forth there. A blue floral print diaper bag, which is up there in that picture up there, was supposed to be with Vincent. It remains missing as well. Police did arrest Gary, but never charged him with anything related to Vincent's disappearance. He claimed that he left Vincent with his mother. There you go. Something she has denied. Again, he was 4 months old when he went missing. He would now be 10 years old, foot tall, 14 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Vincent's disappearance, so you know of his whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Wichita Police Department's Homicide Division at 316-268-4182 or Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Vincent located and back to where he needs to be and see what we can do to help get him found.
Aurelia says, and honestly, the entire foster system is corrupt to begin with. I would say, personally, I lean towards, I think there is a lot of issues with it. But then again, you have people like Ricky who raised 2 daughters and, that started off in a foster situation and it's been great. So I don't think it's a blanket situation where everything's bad. But one thing with this case is I don't think I would be a good police officer, and I don't think I would be like a good, someone to uphold the law, because right now, like again, earlier when I was talking, like if you have children, you need to show up for them. You need to always be ready to go the extra mile for them, no matter how tired you are. Like if I'm a cop, if I'm the law, and you have 2 parents, and neither one of them can decide which one of them was the last one to see the kid. Me personally, I'm like, that sounds like some really bad parenting. Lock them both up, because I'm like, what do you like? I have kids. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. And there would never, in my head, I can't logically think of a way where me and my wife couldn't come up with who was the last person to have, the kid in our possession. Was it you? Was it me? Was it like, to me, it's just like lock them both up. That's awful. Like that's not a good enough answer for, again, I'm glad I'm not a cop. I'm glad I'm not the law, because obviously there's steps that people take. But to me, that's just a really wild, the fact that, again, and that doesn't point a blame at anybody other than the fact that why can't these two parents, that's just really weird. A 4-month-old baby, and it's like it's misplaced, like an iPhone or something. It's like, no, like who had the baby last?
Yeah.
That's a pretty. We're not talking about an iPhone here. We're talking about a baby, a child who had the baby last.
Yeah. And hopefully we can help get him found. Hopefully he's out there safe and sound somewhere and doesn't realize he's a missing child, but hopefully we can help get him found. I mean, it's been, a long time, 10 years, actually almost 10 and a half years, getting close to. In January, it'll be 10 and a half years.
Ricky is a good dad. I'm adopted, not so much I was adopted by my stepdad, but like adoption is having somebody raise you that's like not your biological father. It's a pretty good experience, especially if you have a good dad. I had a really great stepdad, and I feel like most of my good parts of being a human probably came from that fella,
Yeah.
most of my good traits. But yeah, I think like again, but though, anytime you have a situation where you have kiddos and parents raising them that are just meeting these kiddos, and who knows what situation there's it's obviously going to be like a volatile situation. So I think like you have to just do the best you can, and again, so I wouldn't personally write off the adoption process, but I do think like obviously, as in every process, it can always use some TLC and some some upkeep, making sure things are going well.
Yeah. And real quick, there's always good foster parents out there. There's quite a few, but there's always going to be some.
Well, there's some bad ones
that are in some are admittedly in it for the paycheck.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, there are definitely good foster parents. I mean, they're not all bad. I mean, it's just like, you can't lump them all as every apple in the barrel as being rotten when only one in the barrel is rotten or a couple are rotten in the barrel. It's just like with people with police officers. They all cops are bad. Well, no, not all cops are bad. You can't say every one of them in the barrel's rotten just because one or two are few of them might be doesn't mean everyone is. There are officers out there that do their job honestly with integrity, and do the best they can every day they're out there on the street. But there are some that do come off as power tripping and stuff like that. So I mean, it's
Yeah. Justice for Cynthia Ray Collins says, seriously, 10 years and parents are clueless where the baby is. That's nuts. I agree. Again, like, mate, call me crazy, but like, if me or my wife can't come up with who had our kids last, and we're all like, I don't know, just throw us both in jail until you find them. Right. I'm just saying that to the police. If that ever happens, just put me in jail. I'm not telling the truth about something. But tell us about Angela Green, 2019 case.
Okay. Let's see here. I was going to check to make sure real quick, make sure the age now is correct, because it's been a while since I've looked at her flyer. I try to keep up on these and update, even if it's just updating the age now. That's what I try to do.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. She's still showing 57. Okay. Angela Green's missing from Prairie Village, Kansas since June 19th, 2019. She was 51 when she went missing. She's now 57. 5'9", 116 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. There have been conflicting reports as to what happened to, as well as where Angela is. Angela's daughter was told by her dad that Angela had passed away in July of a stroke back in 2019, but she's not sure of this or any of his other claims. One claim was that she was taken to a mental hospital and she was lured to a public parking lot because they didn't want to come to the home to get her and stuff like that. So he's just made all kinds of statements. Police have gotten some conflicting statements about her whereabouts that are a little concerning to them as well. Police say they are treating Angela's case as a missing persons investigation and are working with several other agencies to try to locate her. I need to see if there's any updates on that end of it. Again, when she went missing, she was 51. She's now 57, 5'9", 116 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. I do know they searched the residence where they were living at the time, and then Angela's husband had bought another property in another town in Kansas. The daughter had gone to that property, and she saw what she thought would look like a freshly dug mound of dirt, but it's never been checked out, which I think it should be. But police have yet to check it out, and I can't remember what the reasoning for it was. But if you have any information regarding Angela's disappearance, or you know her whereabouts, please call the Prairie Village, Kansas Police Department at 913-642-6868 or the Crime Stoppers tip line at 816-474-8477 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And there is a $50,000 reward being offered for information on Angela Green's location or finding her remains. So there again, we've got another big reward. So see what we can do to help get Angela located and back to where she needs to be. I know her daughter's been on, a few podcasts, and she was interviewed by People Magazine and stuff like that. And she did a really good interview with People Magazine. She really went in depth on everything that her dad told her and everything like that. So, that's just crazy.
I have some stuff here. It says, let me see. Says, as of November 2025, Angela remains missing with no arrests or charges filed. The Prairie Village Police Department classifies it as an active missing endangered person investigating, now treated as a potential homicide.
Wow.
Says Jeff Green's role. Jeff provided inconsistent accounts, e.g., mental health crisis, stroke, death, voluntary trip. He invoked his Fifth Amendment rights in 2020. Yikes. Refusing police media interviews. As of November 15th, 2024, update. He remains uncharged and lives in Prairie Village. Let me see. No public evidence ties him directly to foul play, but family/police cite his stories as central to suspicions. He has not been named person of interest. Multiple warrants, home and storage, cadaver dogs alerted in Lawrence, but negative results. Over 150 tips investigated, including national checks for mental health records. None found. FBI assistance since 2022 has not yielded breakthroughs. Tension over Ellie's independence preceded disappearance. Angela's sister in China and U.S. relatives believe foul play. Ellie has competed in Miss Kansas pageant while advocating. No evidence implicates extended family. Police family lean towards homicide over voluntary disappearance. Angela has no passport activity, social ties, or travel history. Accidents possible, but unlikely given lack of records.
Wow. And I know Ellie also went to Kansas State Capitol and Missouri State Capitol trying to request a death certificate since that's what her dad told her. Neither state has any record of her as passing away. So.
And it says a private investigator named Steve Ridge continues pro bono work.
Wow, that's cool. Pro bono, I believe, means for free, basically.
I think so.
Yeah. That's good of him to do. Hopefully they can find out what happened to her, because I think there's some foul play going on there.
Yeah, it's not good for sure.
No. Now, I also think Dad knows more than what he's saying, too.
Did you have Baby Vincent in here twice?
I may have.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Let me see if we did.
Yeah, we did him. Yeah,
there twice. Dad, nabbit. Leave it to me. This one is Robin Ann Green. She used to be known as Jane Doe Miss Molly. She was her partially clothed body was found in a creek 11 miles west of Salina, Kansas on January 25th, 1986. She had been severely beaten and thrown over a guardrail and into Mulberry Creek below an Interstate 70 bridge where she drowned. I guess her official cause of death was drowning. The beating didn't kill her. The drowning in the river did. She was clothed only in undergarments that had labels that were believed to be either from Los Angeles or New York or possibly from overseas. Robin's identity was recently discovered after a familial DNA match and dental records match. Robin laid in a Jane Doe grave for just over 34 years at the time her identity was discovered. She was known as Miss Molly by detectives who were investigating her case. Robin, at the time of her death, was 28 years old. She resided in Los Angeles, California. Was the mother of 4. Prior to her death, she had visited family in Minnesota. I saw some post-mortem photos that were released in an attempt to identify her, and she was beaten pretty bad. But if you have any information regarding Robin Ann Green's death, please call the Saline County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-826-6500, or you can email Detective Mike Smith at mike.smith@saline.org, or call FBI VICAP at 800-634-4097, or vicap@leo.gov. I do know that one person of interest that they thought might be responsible is no longer alive either. Trying to think of what else I could add to that. I know her family left her here in Salina at the cemetery she's been in. They said that, they felt like that she, since she's been buried here so long and our law enforcement made so much effort in getting her identified that they just wanted to leave her where she was. So she's here with a nice, beautiful headstone on her grave with her actual Robin Ann Green name on it. And hopefully she's resting in peace, and hopefully we can find that little missing piece to point at what happened to her. I don't know. We'll see. What happened to me? I don't see me.
You don't see you. You haven't. It says there was a Jane Doe in Michigan that was identified this month, and Dorothy Glanton. It looks like here this month they identified.
That's cool.
I don't know, man. Try to leave and come back. Did you turn your camera off? Did you?
No, I don't know what I did. I just got done reading her flyer and I minimized it. And
did you click on the camera down there by chance?
No, I'm looking
down there by the microphone.
I didn't click on that. I didn't click on that. Let me jump out and jump back in. Hang on.
Jump out and jump back in.
Oh,
Ricky's gonna be right back, folks. We're gonna take a quick break. Just kidding, not taking a break. We don't have any commercials. Tom Young. Now, me and Ricky in May, I went over. Ricky still does. Yeah, there's his camera. In May, where is add to the stage? There you go. In May, I went down over to Salina and spent a couple days with Ricky doing some filming, and we went and he showed me quite a few places in Salina where there are some unsolved homicides or crimes. This is one of the ones he took me to, and I felt like this one was the most. I don't know. I've had he is very old. So is Norm. I think they're pretty close in age. My best friends are old guys. But this one was the one that gave me the most heebie-jeebies. Not like in like a ghost, or it was just like when you took me to Lori Hine. They're all, you sense the evil when you go to all these places where something crazy happened. But I don't know, just something about this place. Maybe it's that his family still owns the building, so maybe I felt like we were. I think pretty much every other residence or crime scene we went by, like there really wasn't anybody that was associated with the victim still a part of it at all.
Right.
But this one maybe. But I just felt kind of a weird feeling when we stood outside of this crime scene.
Aside from Heimer's house, because her family still has that house.
Yeah, and that one was like pretty like I said, not like in a disrespectful like a goat, but I felt the sense of evil, like, man, something bad happened here,
Yeah, this was Thomas Tom R. Young was reported missing by his family on Monday, July 11th, 1977. So this has been quite a few years ago. Thomas was the owner-operator of the Lift Tavern at 150 South Broadway. An employee of the Lift reported walking out of the business with Thomas on July 10th, 1977 at about 12:45 in the morning. The employee then observed Thomas walk back into the business. When the same employee returned to work on July 11th, 1977, Thomas's vehicle, a 1977 white Chevy Corvette, was still in the parking lot, and the business was secured. Thomas's body was discovered on July 12th, 1977, in the Raggedy Ann Tavern, 260 Smithers. The tavern was owned by Thomas and was in the process of being remodeled. The cause of death was listed as homicide. And the message from the family of Thomas Young: we would like to ask the public to please come forward with any information they may have in regards to our dad, brother, husband, and friend. It's been 48 years, and closure for everyone would be satisfying. The way a case was handled 48 years ago is so different than in today's time. Due to new technologies and procedures, we're asking for any assistance that may give us closure that we're looking for. That message was released in 2018. I did update the years on that, though. That's the only thing I changed on it. But anyone with information concerning the homicide of Thomas Young is asked to call the Salina Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the Salina-Saline County Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. Tips can also be sent via text message to SA Tips to Crimes 274-637, or you can go to www.pd.salina.org and click on the Crime Stoppers link. You may receive a cash reward up to $1,000, and you're not required to give your name. Or you can call KBI at 1-800-572-7463 and see if we can't help figure out what happened to Thomas, by whom, and get some justice for him and his family.
I'm looking here on the AI to have bring up everything it says. It says that this one there's never been an identified suspect.
No.
It says they've had maybe some persons of interest, but they've obviously never shared any of those names, but it says that this one, as far as the public's concerned, never been a person even identified as maybe a suspect.
Yeah. Yep. And it's been 48 years. I mean, that's been a long time.
Yeah. That's
and the bad part about that is, as time goes on, people pass, memories fade. People move.
It looks like 2018 was the last time there was a pretty big push for Thomas Young, in the media. Yeah. There was the 41st anniversary. So,
and the Salina Police Department actually had a post up, and that kind of surprised me because I remember seeing it, thinking, "Whoa, okay."
Yeah. And like you said, it's kind of like the Suzanne Johnson case. Though she, 71. Pretty much most people that were involved in that are long gone at this point. They're not around anymore. That was a long time ago. The 70s.
Interestingly, I see Thomas's brother in Menards all the time where I work at. He comes in very frequently for his business. He's a contractor, and so he's in there very frequently. So I see him a lot.
Did he ever do much or anybody from Thomas's family? Did they do much media? Did they do a lot of interviews and stuff back in the day, or?
Not that I've ever seen. Of course, that's before the internet. So if there was anything, I don't know if it's archived anywhere or not.
Right.
I'd have to dig.
Right. Yeah.
And this is another one we've talked about a lot too. Nellie Mae Hubbard. This is back on March 14th, 1981, here in Salina. Her murder is still solved after all these years. It happened on March 14th, 1981. Nellie was found deceased in her residence at 1008 East Elm Street on the cot she slept in her living room. She was covered with a sheet, and the scarf she usually wore was found on the floor. Nellie put up a struggle during her attack. She ultimately died of asphyxiation. She also suffered 8 broken ribs, 1 broken in 2 places. She also had a broken bone in her throat. She also had an injury to the back of her skull. She also had bruises on her arms, and there was evidence of other internal injuries. Upon searching Nellie's home, investigators found $93,000 in cash and over $100,000 in CDs or certificates of deposits, and a large quantity of silver coins dating back to 1886. Investigators also discovered that Nellie's home was filled with miscellaneous household items, trash, and other clutter that made 2 of her bedrooms completely unusable. She does deserve to be able to rest in peace. So let's see what we can do to bring her killer to justice. If you have any information, please call the Salina Police Department at 785-826-7210. For Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. Or text SA Tips to Crimes 274-637. Or go to www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip. Or call the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. And the lighter up there at the top, that was found at the crime scene underneath Nellie. When they rolled her on her cot, it was underneath her, and they know it doesn't belong to her because she doesn't smoke and wouldn't have no reason to have a lighter. So they believe that belongs to the perpetrator. So if anybody has any idea who may have had a lighter like that back in 1981 that lived in that area, let investigators know that as well. And that is the actual lighter that was found. I was able to get a picture of it And you can still see, if you look at the picture of it where it's closed, you can still see fingerprint dust on the top of the dome there on that lighter, on the lid. And I was really lucky to get that picture. I'm glad I got it because I've never been able to find another picture of it on the internet. I did long searches on the internet and image searches trying to find a picture of that thing. And the closest I came was an old Salina Journal article where the sheriff at the time, I think it was, or assistant police chief at the time, he was holding a replica of the lighter, and it was a black and white crappy photo, and I didn't like that, so I did my best to come up with that, and I did. I emailed a detective that's no longer on the force, and he was able to find that they actually had the lighter. Last I knew, it was in Topeka with the KBI, but they'd sent it back to Salina, and he actually sent me the pictures of it that he took, so there it is.
So I wasn't born yet, but in 81, how old were you? And I guess my question would be like, do you remember this happening? And what did you think about this? Like whenever you heard about this?
I would have been 13. I wouldn't have had my 14th birthday yet. That wasn't for another couple of weeks after it happened. I was 13, and I really don't remember much about it at all, being that I was only 13. I mean, that was only a couple blocks from where we were living at the time, too. So we were right there in the neighborhood.
And you don't remember like it being like a big deal, people being scared, or?
I don't remember anything. That's the bad part, is I've been thinking about it and thinking about it. Every time I look at her flyer, I sit there and think about it and think about it, and I cannot remember. I guess my parents did a good job at shielding. See, and you would think I would, because when I was 13, I was delivering the Salina Journal newspaper, and I saw the front page every day. So you would think I would remember.
But okay, so let me ask this. Is Nellie's one of the houses that we didn't film because the new owners don't want it filmed? Or?
Right. Yeah. The new owners don't like their house being shown in correlation with her case. But
okay, so that was what. But I remember the reason I remember that one is because also when you say you live close, you're talking like very close to.
Yeah, we were. I mean, you're talking. That was at what, 1008 East Elm. I lived at 709 East Ash, which is like 2 blocks over and 1 block up.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, I do remember this, a friend of mine that lived on Des Moines, which is a half a block away from where Nellie lived, he was out jogging that night. And the police stopped him and questioned him because they saw him running down the street because he was out jogging. So they stopped him and questioned him. Oops, sorry.
Wow.
So yeah. So it kind of freaked him out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's just crazy that like you're a few blocks away and you're kind of a kid and like you're kind of prone to follow this kind of stuff like a lot of people are. It's just crazy that it, and I don't think it's necessarily maybe even your memory. It's just there was no internet back in 81. Like maybe it's just weird that it wasn't like a big deal like in your neighborhood, because like I'm from Elkhart. Also, Elkhart has like Salina has a ton of people compared to Elkhart. Elkhart has like 1,600 people. So if anybody just dies from natural causes in Elkhart, typically everybody in town knows about it and thinks about it and talks about it for a day or two. So it's just kind of wild to me that like this could happen really. But I believe you, like Salina is a pretty big town. Things happen, and no internet, no Facebook. It's kind of hard. In 81, Rodney Cox was 9 years out of high school.
Wow.
He says, dang, I'm old. No, I was just kind of curious. But then I remember when we went and filmed that documentary, because you showed me where you grew up. I think it's actually, we did film your old house. We didn't film Nellie's house where she was taken, but we did film your old house. It was really close. But yeah. We're going to go on to some missing teens. Not as many as last week. We had a ton last week and the week before. Hopefully most of these kiddos are going home, and
I did post a lot of them as located safe, as a matter of fact.
Good deal, man.
Yeah, I did. I think I posted, let's see here, let me look real fast. And they were all teens too. Here, if I can. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them since November 7th. One of them being Kmu Live, the one that I know, the one that her mom was my foster daughter years back. She's back home safe now, and hopefully she'll stay put. I'm hoping.
Right.
But I wanted to share Giovanni again because I just added the picture on the right a couple of days ago. It was just emailed to me, so I wanted to add it and repost the flyer, which I already reposted, when I added it a couple of days ago. But I wanted to share it on the show again because I did add the new photo on the right. It's missing from Kansas City, Kansas, November 1st of this year, so almost a week and a half. She's 16, 5'1" to 5'2", 135 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. I do not know if she in that photo is wearing a wig or not. I'm not sure. I don't have much more information than that. But if you have any information regarding Giovanni's disappearance, of her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Giovanni located and back to where she needs to be. And I do have another located safe for another teenager I have to do after the show, Destiny MacArthur, that we had covered before. She was located safe today.
Awesome, man.
So I've got to update her. Yeah, this is Kylie Sullivan. She had gone missing, was located, went missing again before I could even update her to located safe. So let's see here. She is missing from Wichita, Kansas since November 9th, 2025. 17 years old, 5'3", 115 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. She does have some mental health concerns, and she is without her medications. And she's 17, 5'3", 115 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Kylie's disappearance or of her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can get Kylie located and back to where she needs to be. Only the first flyer I did I did not have that center picture. It wasn't until KBI posted her as missing the second time that they put that picture on her KBI listing. So I borrowed it. So. And I thought, hey, that is a pretty good shot.
Gotta get them, man. You gotta get the pictures when you can.
Yeah. I like those kind of shots. No filters, no nothing. And this is Emma Torres, missing from Kansas City, Kansas. It's November 7th, 2025. 15 years old, 5'3", between 120 and 140 pounds. Black hair. Last known to be wearing a brown straight wig and brown eyes. Her given name is Rylan, and Rylan is a transgender female going by the name Emma. Emma has a tattoo of a small heart on the inside of her left forearm, a tattoo of a smiley face with X's for eyes on her right forearm, and a tattoo of the letter P on her left thigh. And you can see all three tattoos at the bottom. Those were sent to me not too awful long ago. If you have any information regarding Emma's disappearance or of her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't get Emma located and back to where she needs to be. And this one, she's missing out of Wichita. Helena Dewey Qualls, missing since November 8th, 2025. She's 14, 5'5", 120 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Last seen heading west on 21st Street near Woodlawn in Wichita. Again, she's 14, 5'5", 120 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a gray string top, black sweatpants, and a tiger blanket. If you look at the comments on her flyer on Kansas Missing and Unsolved Facebook, you'll see somebody has posted screenshots from Kalena's Instagram, and in one of them she's with an adult female, and the other one she's in it with an adult male. So don't know who they are. But if anybody can look at those and maybe identify one or both and let us know, and I can pass that on, that would be great. But if you have any information regarding Kalena's disappearance, her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Kalena located and back to where she needs to be. And I do know that law enforcement is in possession of those photos as well. So we'll see what happens. See if we can get her found back to where she needs to be.
100%.
And this is Alexander Smith. I wanted to get her on again because she's been missing for quite a little while now. She's missing from Wichita, Kansas since July 6th, 2025. She is 16 years old, 5'3", 103 pounds. Her brown hair that was last known to be dyed black and blue eyes. She does have some serious medical conditions and some mental health concerns and is without any of her medication for these. And she's 16, 5'3", 103 pounds, brown hair that was last known to be dyed black and blue eyes. She does have nose piercings in each nostril, as you can see them both pretty good on the right-hand picture there. But if you have any information regarding Alexandra's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9254 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can get Alexandra located and back to where she needs to be. It's been a little while.
We got a couple out of sick cases, and we're going to get out of here. We're live every Wednesday night, unless there's like a holiday or something.
Yeah.
Ricky's going to be having surgery eventually. We'll probably find out more in the coming weeks.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's smashing into the holiday season, but
yeah,
as long as they can keep your heart kerflunking for, we just need you for about 20-25 more years, Rick.
All right.
We just got to keep going with these Flyers, man.
All right.
Got to get
believe me, I this has been a very passionate thing for me for the last almost 14 years, and as long as my services are needed, I want to keep being able to do it. So, and this is Jeremiah Demetrius Moneta, missing from Ponca City, Oklahoma since January 17th, 2025. So we're getting close to a year on him too here in a couple months. He was 22 when he went missing. He's now 23, 5'9", 150 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He recently moved to Ponca City, Oklahoma from Kansas City, Missouri. His bank account has not been touched, and his apartment showed no signs of disturbance. Jeremiah's cell phone was found in somebody else's possession, and his asthma inhaler that he never leaves behind was found on a stranger's porch. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 22. He's now 23, 5'9", weighs 150 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He does have facial hair, and he does have a Playboy bunny tattoo on his shoulder blade. I'm hoping to get a picture of that at some point. Last seen wearing a Kansas City Chiefs hoodie, jeans, and work boots, and I'm assuming the picture on the far right is the hoodie he was last seen wearing. If you have any information regarding Jeremiah's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Ponca City, Oklahoma Police Department at 580-767-0370 or call the anonymous tip line at 580-762-5100. Or if you want to send an anonymous tip online, you can do so at webtips.aspx !agency ID equals 496 to fill out the tip sheet and send the information. You can also text Ponca City Police Department plus your message to crimes 274-637 from your cell phone, or you can email your information to crimestoppers@poncacityoK.gov and see if we can't help get Jeremiah located and back to where he needs to be. Because again, it's getting close to a year. Another month and a half or so. A couple months, I guess. 2.5 months. This is November, December. No, month and a half. Maybe 2 months. Somewhere in there. Point is, he needs found. I know I've talked to his mom on one occasion, and I know she really wants to get him found. So let's see what we can do to help that. Can't believe Thanksgiving's week after next. Whoosh.
Oh, man. Blazing up.
Almost done with another year. Whew. All right. And this is Dana Bruce, missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. 23 years old when she went missing. She's now 40. 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. And she last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. She was last seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with the man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man she was with that night. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance. Police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her again after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush, toothbrush. She does not have credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, she was 23 when she went missing. She would now be 40. 5'2", weighs 98 pounds. Brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. She had a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100, or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422, or Private Investigator Leslie at 910-427-0070. And as Derek mentioned earlier, I ran across a video on YouTube. I believe it is Southern Girls True Crime Stories, I believe is what it's called. And she had done a video, I'm trying to remember what it was called. Let's see if I can find out real quick. I sent the link to Derek the other night so he could watch it because I found it pretty interesting because they disclosed a lot of stuff in Dana's case that I was not aware of until I watched that video, obviously. And it's a new video. It just came out not too awful long ago. Let's see here. Southern Girl Crime Stories. Yeah, that's what it's called. Southern Girl Crime Stories. And the video is 5 Missouri cold cases still unsolved in 2025. And hers was like the second case in on the video. And I'm trying to remember some of the stuff they talked about. It's been a while since I've watched it, and I've watched other videos since then, so I don't want to confuse information. But I know they talked about at one point that the truck may not have been red. It might have been green. I'm trying to remember what else they talked about. There's just a lot. Let's see if I can't link the video to her flyer so you guys can find it real quickly here. But I'll do that after the show. But it was a very interesting little segment in her video. Again, the Southern Girls True Crime Stories is what it's called. And I've been watching her channel for actually quite a while. I'm a subscriber to her. Yeah, Southern Girl Crime Stories, Southern Girl Crime Stories. I've been following her channel for quite some time. She has that nice Southern drawl when she does her cases, so it's really kind of cool.
Soothing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and this one, and Ellen's saying, yes, the truck was green. Thank you, Ellen. And this is Melody Buzzard. And I've been really following Melody's case, and there's been a lot of interesting developments. And I've had my laptop powered up over here to my right, and I'm going to refer to it for some information because I've been following the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office website, and they've been putting updates on there very frequently on Melody's case. But Melody went missing from Santa Barbara, California on October 7th, 2025. The search for Melody expanded to include Nebraska after investigators in California said Melody may have traveled through or to the state with her mother earlier this month. Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office said detectives recently confirmed that Melody was last seen in August 2025 through records from the Lubbock Unified School District. A later update released this week, or at the time, narrowed the timeline, saying evidence indicates she was seen with her mother, Ashley Buzzard, as recently as October 7th, 2025, and that the pair may have driven a white Chevy Malibu, California plate 9MNG101 outside Santa Barbara County, possibly as far as Nebraska. Authorities said the vehicle was a rental that is no longer in Ashley's possession. The detectives have described her as uncooperative and said they have not received any verified information about Melody's current location or condition. Nebraska State Patrol spokesperson Cody Thomas said that the state investigators are assisting, adding that the FBI is the lead agency in the search. Santa Barbara County detectives are urging anyone who has seen Melody or Ashley Buzzard since October 7th to contact their Criminal Investigation Division at 805-681-4150. Anonymous tips can be submitted online at www.sbssheriff.org or through the tip line at 805-681-4171. Officials emphasize that while the public's concern is high, residents should not attempt to conduct independent searches, saying those efforts could interfere with ongoing investigative work. And minimize the fire. I did put some other stuff here. Like this was a recent surveillance video from the car rental location that sheriffs have released, the sheriff's department released, showing Melody and her mom Ashley both wearing wigs, obviously to conceal identity. And apparently during the trip, Ashley was switching wigs frequently to change her appearance and stuff. I was reading, and this is where they feel like she went from Utah back to California. Is what that is right there. And then this is a timeline. Let's see, did I pull that up on my end where I could read it? Of course not.
If you hover over our screen, there's a little square at the bottom right of our actual where you see the show. If you click on that, it'll full screen it.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I've had other people say that. Yeah, we can't see that. We can't see that. Let's see the timeline. Of course, the photo there, most recent photo and verified sighting available on the at the onset of the investigation was the one that I have, I think, centered on the flyer. That was in 2023. August 2025, Lubbock Unified School District verified sighting October 7th. Verified sighting of Melody and Ashley beginning a road trip to Nebraska, where Ashley returned to Lubbock without Melody. Back on October 14th of 2025, check the welfare request by Lubbock Unified School District, prompts onset of missing person investigation. Ashley was contacted at the residence, could not provide reasonable explanation of Melody's whereabouts. October 15th, detectives served search warrant at the residence. Melody is not located. Ashley remains uncooperative. October 18th, the FBI joins the investigation. On October 22nd, where it says Melody remains at risk, missing person. Ashley remains uncooperative with investigators. So, yeah, that's that. But yeah, again, that's what they look like when they rented the car. And the latest update on the sheriff's website, try to read this and stay on mic at the same time, says sheriff's detectives have arrested 40-year-old Ashley Buzzard on charges unrelated to the search for Melody. Detectives learned of a recent incident where Ashley prevented a victim from leaving a location against her will, which constitutes false imprisonment. The crime is not connected to the ongoing search for Melody. However, detectives are unable to fully outline the crime as it would impede their ongoing investigation. On Friday, November 7th, 2025, detectives arrested Ashley on a warrant for a felony charge of false imprisonment. She will be booked at the Northern Branch Jail with bail at $100,000. Now, this is the part that really confuses me because I have never heard this. Her booking photo does not meet the criteria for public release and will not be distributed. Now, last I knew, mugshots were a matter of public record. So why they're saying what criteria is it not meeting for public release? I don't get that. If somebody can clarify that, that would be great. But to me, makes no sense. It says, although the arrest occurred during the course of the missing person investigation, it's not directly related to Melody's disappearance. Sheriff's detectives remain fully focused on locating Melody and confirming her safety. Members of the public who have seen Melody or who may have information about her whereabouts are urged to contact the sheriff's office through any of the following methods. The detective line at 805-681-4150. Anonymous tip line 805-681-4171. Online sbssheriff.org/home/anonymous.tip. And then that's and of course it says this post is filed under breaking news general. And I've been following the general folder of their website for a while now, and they update frequently. The update before that, they released the video from the car rental location, and I saved it with hopes of being able to show it. But it's really weird because on the website it shows it, like you would watch it. But when I saved it and I tried to play it back, it turned it sideways. So I don't know what that's all about. So, I mean, it's weird. I mean, if I can shoot you the link to it, if you can like maybe uh split screen it or something, however you do that on
we might need to be if it's I don't know, I just be able to copyright stuff. You might be careful. I don't
yeah,
know who
might
owns
be.
the video. Yeah.
Yeah. But it just basically shows them at the counter at the car rental place, just standing there chit chatting for a few seconds, basically. But it shows them like you see them there in the photo. There, the same outfits, the same wigs, stuff like that. I think at one
Christopher
point one of
says
the
makes me wonder if her mom had something to do with her daughter's disappearance since she's being
maybe
uncooperative.
I know one of the updates I read said at one point the tag on the car had been switched and then the original plate put back on before she turned the vehicle back in, because apparently one of the flock cameras that has the tag reader on it read a different tag on that vehicle, but the original tag was back on it when she turned it back in. So
I don't know. Like it's like you look at a picture like this, and my first reaction is like, man, this looks like some people trying to be inconspicuous, like costumed out.
yeah,
Because it looks like a little overdone. But then I was like sitting here before I was gonna say it, I was like, shut up, Derek. If you were sitting in that building and those two walked in, I might look like a second or two longer than if they didn't look like they were wearing wigs and stuff. Like if my brain was like, oh, they look like they're wearing wigs, like my brain would probably immediately be like, well, what if one of them has like a situation where they can't grow hair on their head, so they're just a wig's not the craziest thing. You'll see a 10 if you pay attention in real life. So like I guess I could see how if you weren't looking for these people, you probably wouldn't intervene in this situation.
right.
You'd be like, oh, that's in the wig.
I found the update that talked about the other license plate. The Malibu was observed with the New York license plate HCG 9677. Says it's unknown where the plate was installed or whether additional plates were used. At other times during the road or during travel, the New York plate seen on the car does not belong to that vehicle or to Ash. The investigators believe it was used as a false or switched plate to avoid detection. When the vehicle was returned to the rental agency in Lubbock, California, the assigned California plate was back on the vehicle. So
wow,
that would lead me to believe she snagged it off another car and slapped it on that one. Only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
So yeah, crazy stuff. But like I said, I've been watching the Santa Barbara website, Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office, just to keep up on the updates, and they're pretty good about putting updates on there as what's going on with the investigation. So
yeah,
I'm glad they are doing that.
Yeah.
So I think that was the last one we had to cover for tonight.
All right, man. Well, is there any chance you will miss next week's show, or you're definitely going to be here next week?
Planning on being here next week. I'm trying to remember what my schedule is, though. I haven't really looked that close at it. And my boss told me to look at it because she said it's going to be kind of weird for that week. So let's see, next week. Oh yeah, because of my colonoscopy. That's what you're talking about. Because I am off that Wednesday. I don't know. That's a good question. I'll have to see. Because the anesthesia they give you for those is called the amnesia anesthesia because you don't remember anything.
Yeah.
So for a while anyway. So I don't know. That's a good question. That is a very good question. I guess we'll find out.
Well, we'll try to be here the 19th for next week, and then the 26th will be the day before Thanksgiving. So as of right now, I'm gonna say I'm gonna try to do a show that week, but that might be kind of we're having some people here for Thanksgiving, so I might be kind of out of pocket on the holiday. But I'm gonna try to do both of those shows, the 19th and 26th, pending on Ricky's health and my family's schedule. But I'm just assuming you're probably gonna have surgery pretty soon, right? Like,
Yeah.
we'll
I
kind
would
of play
work-
it by ear. I think we'll definitely be here next week unless
Yeah.
Ricky's out of it because of his procedure. But
We'll
I
find
think
out.
next week it's probably going to get pretty week to week as far as what's going to happen with
Yeah.
because Ricky's got a lot of stuff he's got to get going on. So
Yeah. I have
there
to call
will be a
Dennis to
show
schedule.
every Wednesday, even when Ricky is out of commission. But it'll probably be me and my wife or me and Norm or something while Ricky's
Yeah.
out. But I'm just kind of trying to look at my calendar here and see what the next try to plan my next couple of weeks at least.
Yeah. Yep. It should be interesting the next few weeks for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Christopher, it makes me wonder if her mom has something to do with her daughter's disappearance since she's being. Yeah, I've been wondering about that too. I've been wondering about that too. And, I mean, something's up. I mean, she's switching license plates. She's being uncooperative. They wore wigs.
Yeah.
I mean, something's up. And I do know that I've read one article saying that Ashley's family was saying that Ashley does have some mental health concerns as well. So that could factor in as well. So I don't know. Don't know what kind of mental health concerns, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And my daughter said she can always help out with the show too. She mentioned that to me. She says, yeah, I think I might have asked her to help out with flyers while I'm down and out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see. But thank you everybody for joining us for the show tonight. And it did run a little bit long, which is fine. I don't mind it running a little bit long. But give us a chance to chit chat and go over some stuff and deep dive in, do a little bit of a deep dive into some things and express some frustrations with Judge in Oklahoma. Yeah. That's deeply frustrating. He probably should be looked at and maybe removed from the bench for that, but I don't know.
It's a little weird, man. 11's a lot. 11's a big number when you're talking about certain things.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's just crazy to let somebody off that committed that severe of crimes and basically say, now don't do it again.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that, just want to, again, thank everybody for being with us tonight. I always like it when people jump in and join us and stick with us through the whole show. And, hopefully, everybody's jumping on the YouTube and subscribing and sharing the YouTube as well, because I want to get that going and get it going and growing. With that, just, like I said, we'll kind of play it by ear the next couple of weeks with holidays and with my procedure next week and stuff like that. But so, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight to go over these cases and see if we can maybe get some folks found and get some unsolved homicides solved so people can have some closure. It's just these cases hurt. They do, and we'd really like to see them resolved. And just pray the right people do the right thing and make those calls or send the tips online or however they feel comfortable doing it. Even if they want to send them to me and I'll pass them on. I don't have an issue with that either. But I just want to see these folks get some closure. And, until we see each other and hopefully next week, everybody stay safe, stay healthy. God bless and amen.
Amen.